Hello and welcome to another Alter Confusion Hangout. I am your host, Charlie, and I am joined once again by the prolific comer himself, Zelius.
Yo!
Yo. Unfortunately, we do not have Jesse this evening, so I apologize for anyone out there who is looking to find another person in the screen on my side.
That's the hangout I was looking for, so with Jesse.
I'm sorry,
Is
Zelius.
he like next door?
No, he's not. He's not visiting his parents today.
Ah, right. Don't they just live like in the city also?
They still live in Dunley.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very far to visit.
They're by Perimeter Point.
Okay. Right on.
All right, anyways, so tonight's topic is about, well, let's start off with the big one that has a lot of people scratching their heads, and that is Sony has come out and said that every single PlayStation 4 game that doesn't require a unique peripheral has to have remote play. What that means is there has to be the functionality built into the game to allow the game to be played remotely through the PS Vita. Now, there's a couple quick little things I want to talk about with this. One, who the hell owns a PS Vita? Exactly, zero. Well, there's probably like 3 people out there, but let's be honest. And two, this seems like trying to handcuff your developer. I was talking to a coworker the other day when this news broke, and I basically said, and I'm not going to be surprised if this actually happens, but I'm not going to be surprised by the fact that there's probably companies out there that are going to come out with a peripheral that really has nothing to do with the game, but they're going to add it to the game so that they can get out of the remote play clause in their game.
But see, here's the thing, though. Okay, so I was kind of thinking the same thing, like, or potentially, like, are developers now going to want to shy away from the PS4 because they want to be forced into that jam?
Right.
So I went, I went online. I was like, okay, what's going on with this whole Vita thing? And from what I read, and this is of course just today because this news came out like earlier today or yesterday maybe. It's not that old of news.
Yeah, it's like a day or 2 old.
Yeah, is from what I've been reading online at least, it's not really like, okay, I'm making a game and I have to make it for both the PS4. Oh, and then basically I'm porting it to the Vita. It's more like I have the game on my PS4, and for all intents and purposes, it's kind of like just streaming over Wi-Fi to my Vita.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I read, it's like, yes, it has to be Vita capable, but it's not like I'm having to make it for the Vita. It just basically all it's doing is just reducing your screen size from the 1080p down to the little screen. So it requires some finagling, but it's not like they're having to reinvent the wheel for it to work on the Vita. So it doesn't seem like it is quite that. It will require a little bit extra work, but it doesn't look like, from what I read, like it's going to be the end of the world.
Well, the one thing
that's just it depends. I don't know. That's just whatever.
Right. Well, one of the things I'm very worried about is that the PlayStation 3 originally had remote play, where you could play PlayStation 1 games through your PSP, and the lag was so atrocious that it became unplayable. So my question is, how are they going to get around the data bottleneck of trying to push all this information over to the Vita? Because the PSP is having a hell of a time trying to deal with a PlayStation 1 game whose graphics are very simplistic.
Yep.
Well, what's going to happen with a 1080p game being streamed over through the Vita?
It's almost like they're turning the Vita into a Wii U console.
Yeah.
With the difference being, though, is, a Wii U, it's almost like an addition to, it's not like, I know you kind of can, but it's not like I'm playing Super Smash Brothers through I know I'm playing it, I don't know how to word it right. It's not like I'm only playing on my Wii U. I'm actually playing, through my console, like on my TV. Mm-hmm. It's almost like we've all done Log Me In, or like a remote desktop console session, right?
Yep.
Is you always have that lag. Like,
yep.
I'm not going to go on a remote desktop into school and watch a YouTube video.
But you're not going to go into work and do a Log Me In session on your home computer and try to play World of Warcraft.
exactly, because the lag is just bad. I mean, you could kind of do it if you want to watch like, a slideshow version, but that's how I'm thinking about it, and that's over a LAN.
Right.
So I'm trying to think of like how you're right. Maybe like I could see like on my own personal wireless network. Okay, maybe that could work at least.
That's what I was
Maybe
playing the PSP on.
I'm trying to be optimistic here.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm trying to be optimistic. So maybe in my own house, I'm like, okay, maybe there. But anywhere outside of then, I have a hard time finding that the technology will really transfer. I think it's a cool idea. I really do. If it works, and it really, I think, one of the big issues for the Vita is like, it's been pretty much an epic failure. And if they could actually make this work so you could really play the PS4 games on the Vita without the lag issue, I think it actually could be a really smart move play on Sony's part. But the other thing I'm worried about too, like you said, and my understanding is with the original PlayStation, playing on your, what was the other,
PSP.
was it the Vita or what was them before
the
that?
PSP.
The PSP. Well, didn't they eventually become like, okay, screw that, that didn't really work, basically?
Basically.
And then you look at the PS3, who lost the backwards compatibility with the PS2.
And the PS1.
So it's one of those things, and like I was reading the forums, everybody's like, "Oh, another reason to buy a PS4 to buy the PS4 is this requirement." Because it's like another free add-on in a way, and if it works, I could see that argument. But the problem is that Sony has lost that faith, and that they're actually going to keep this requirement going. Is it going to be like 6 months from now? Where they're going to be like, "Well, never mind," because time and time again, Sony has shown that they kind of changed the requirements of the consoles after they're released.
Right. Well, one of the other things that I'm having a hard time with this news is the fact that the PS Vita's control scheme do not match up to the PlayStation 4 controller.
They don't have the arc triggers, do they?
No, they have a touchpad on the back of the system.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have all the triggers. I mean, the layout is different. The way you're going to handle the game is different. I just don't know how easily just even the controls are going to transfer over. Now, I understand that perhaps one of the ways to try to lessen the bottleneck is to do like an Uber buffer at the beginning. But when you're playing like an open world adventure game, it's really hard to try to cover every single base that a user is going to do. Like Skyrim would, in my mind, be damn near impossible to do with a remote play because of the fact that you've got so much stuff that possibly could happen.
Well, no, the way I look at it too is I don't really play handheld console games. So think about the handheld console video games. It almost seems like, from a game designer's perspective, how you kind of create the user interface and the player experience, because you're dealing with such a smaller screen. It's not a bad experience. It's a different user face experience with that small of a screen. Like, can you imagine trying to play like a Mass Effect on that small of a screen, or a lot of those different, like, that just doesn't appeal to me to play some of these games on that small of a screen. So that's my other way to look at it is, the user interface and the user experience that the developers expect and the end user to receive. It's just a different expectation when you're going from a 42-inch TV to your little, with the reduced pixel size too.
Right.
It's not even like you get the 1080p experience on the Vita. It's an actual smaller resolution. So from that perspective, it's kind of like, interesting.
Well, you actually bring up a fantastic point about the screen size. That actually reminded me of when I was a mobile game developer, and the thing was that we had to create like 8 different versions of a game depending on the size of the screen. So, I mean, that's a potential issue with the developers, is that they have to have, perhaps there are like data requirements of how much data can transfer over through this connection. So they have to send like a simplified version through with changes in the UI, perhaps some of the character animation. But if you're going to do that to that extent, then why not just make the game for the Vita? But then the Vita, right now, I don't want to be like really, really mean, but it's a failing product. So why would you even make a simpler version on a failing product?
Well, the funny thing too is Sony was like, okay, you're exempt from the whole Vita thing if you're using like what is it, the PlayStation Eye or Move or whatever they're calling it.
Uh-huh.
And then you look though at the Xbox One, where Microsoft is basically going the opposite direction, where they're like, every game must use a peripheral now. Go peripherals.
Yep.
So it's almost like Sony is almost like, peripherals, whatever. Whereas it's almost like Microsoft's entire like game plan for the next generation is like all about the peripheral.
Right.
So it's almost like two diverging paths. I'm not sure I'm a fan of either of those strategies, to be honest.
Right.
One strategy is, yay, go handheld Vita. The other strategy is like, yay, go pure peripherals. Kind of like somewhere in between might be nice.
Right.
Back to the Nintendo then.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I don't think we're going to see something after the Wii U on the console side.
We'll see. I think we'll see another Nintendo console after the Wii U.
I think that if they're going to have to create a must-have game for the Wii U, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Sure. I think, and there's games they could do. I mean, you could do something from the Zelda, or Smash Brothers, or there's still that potential. And we'll see E3's coming up, so that very well could be the almost make or break for Nintendo.
Right. You know, I know that there's
those games where it's like, okay, now there's a reason to get the Wii U.
Well, I know that there is apparently some big Sonic game that's going to be coming out for the Wii U, but I don't know too much about it. It's kind of been on my peripheral.
But you also look at gamers, and okay, so say the Wii U comes out as like some phenomenal game. It's like a whoa must-have, right? But then you look at the Wii U come out December. It's going to be 2 years old? Or would it just be a year old?
I think a year and a half.
So, okay, look at the Wii U. That's going to be a year and a half in December. Or as a gamer, am I going to buy the Wii U, which is already a year and a half, and it's kind of a mediocre success? Okay, it hasn't been a success, let's be honest.
Right.
Or I could spend that money and get probably either the PS4 or Xbox One.
Right.
Which one do you think, if they haven't already bought the Wii U, are gamers? If they haven't bought a Wii U up until this point, and you're looking to the future, to the Xbox One or PS4, what do you think the majority of gamers are going to buy?
The majority of gamers are not going to buy the console. It's going to be their parents for Christmas gifts, and and what's going to happen, unless unfortunately, I still see there's going to be some kind of distribution bottleneck, and so these late holiday shoppers are going to end up getting their kids a Wii U because that's the only thing left in stock. And that's what's going to keep the Wii U around for just a little bit longer.
I'm actually going to ask my brother, because I actually got him and his kids the Wii U last year. I remember when I was in town and they just got it. I'll have to actually ask him. Be like, so, David, how's the Wii U been working out for you guys? I'm kind of curious to hear. Because I know, it's cool. They really enjoyed it, I know, at the time. But 6 months later, has it stood the test of time? Right. And I do think, for the multiplayer games, especially with kids, yeah, I definitely still see the appeal of the Wii or Wii U. I think we're talking more in general terms. We're talking to a more, let's call it, mature audience. Right.
For the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So the Xbox One is trying to appear as not only a console for the mature audiences or the more hardcore audience, but one that would enhance anyone's media experience.
Which is kind of funny to me, because I'm sure you probably noticed too, is most gaming websites, it seems like the forums are all like, boo, Xbox One! Why do they care about all this other shit that gamers don't care about? And it's because of exactly what you just said. Like, the gamers are going to buy the consoles regardless, let's be honest.
Right.
Microsoft was like, okay, how do we branch on beyond the gamers who are going to already buy the console anyways? Let's be honest. The hardcore gamers, really, how much of a percentage who are going to the Kotakus and the giant bums? That's like, what, 1%? It's not a very significant portion of, what they care about. All the time, what's getting flamed? The Call of Duties, the Modern Warfares.
Yep.
Guess what sells like hotcakes? The Call of Duties, the Modern Warfares.
Yep.
That's what they're going after. So it's kind of like, I very much take those reports with a grain of salt of like, oh, this is terrible. You know, 6 months from now, I think we'll have a better idea of, okay, what really maybe is. And even the PS4 with the, yes, the PS4, we know it has better hardware specs than the Xbox One. Guess what? So did the PS3 over the Xbox.
That's true.
And it's one of those things where, like, you're a game developer. Guess what? If you create, Mass Effect 8, it's probably going to be pretty similar graphics between the PS4 and the Xbox One because that's just how game developers are developing the game.
Right. And one thing to take into account if you're going to try to choose one platform or the other is that Microsoft not only is trying to be a more media center device to grab the larger audience, because let's be honest, even though gaming has increased through the years as the fee of entry has gone down, or the complexity of the games have gone down,
Yeah.
fortunately or unfortunately. Gamers basically take up this chunk of consumers. Consumers are like that much, okay? So we're talking this much versus this. So I know that a lot of people are pissed off that Xbox is all about TV, media, TV, media. Guess what? They're trying to make everybody aware that this thing is going to be more than just a nerd box that is just going to sit in their basement for their sweaty son.
Now, the only thing I could see, worry about is one of the kind of jokes about the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
It's great for task management, but it's a terrible phone. It could be the same potential with the Xbox One, where Microsoft concentrates so much on this other stuff where they forget about the gaming experience.
Well, I think one of the things that people really truly need to understand is the amount of in-studio games that Microsoft produces is much smaller than the Sony in-studio games.
Mm.
Microsoft is making hardware that's going to be like awesome. It's going to be very simple and very parallel to a PC experience.
Yep.
And they're putting their trust in third-party developers to truly bring the gaming experience, and that's why E3 is going to be so important for Microsoft.
To see what games they'll actually have when it comes out.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it'll be an interesting year for all three console manufacturers. It's kind of a big year to see, what can Sony and Xbox and Nintendo pull out to be like, this is the console you want to buy this Christmas season.
Exactly. So, anyways, I do want to mention one other thing because I have been reading this on a lot of forums, and I want to correct a potential wrong. Now, I am not 100%. I do not have insider information, but a lot of people are like, the true reason why I'm going to get the PlayStation 4 over the Xbox One is that I'm going to be able to play my used games.
Mm.
No, you're not. One, there's not going to be any backwards compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it's just a way of the times. Used game sales, the console manufacturers and the developers and the publishers do not want their game to be sold again to line the pockets of brick and mortar stores. So there is going to be some type of DRM or something in place, just like Microsoft. It's just that Sony is so scared because they got the shit kicked out of them during the last generation that they're going to wait till the very last minute when you've truly completely fallen in love with their product before breaking that itty bitty piece of news that, yeah, we're going to do the exact same thing that Xbox is doing.
Basically, until the console's actually released, I'm taking the whole used game issue with both Xbox and the PlayStation 4 until it's actually released.
Right.
I'm just going to wait to have a verdict on used game sales on either console until the release. Because chances are they very well could change between now and 6 months from now anyway.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, even with the Sony making a requirement of the Vita, I mean, after all the launch titles, maybe Sony drops it within 8 months or something. I mean, it's out there to try to make a splash, to see how the public perceives the information that they're given. And unfortunately, I'm going to get on my soapbox for just 1 second. Unfortunately, a lot of the public depend solely on media outlets to tell them how they feel about it, and certain media outlets have taken some very, very small scraps of information that are egregiously misinterpreted and running with it and causing flame wars to happen all over the internet.
And if Sony was really going to do, let's call it old school used games where there's no DRM or anything,
Yep.
they would have already been preaching on the pulpit about it.
Oh, absolutely.
If it was just going to be no restrictions on used games whatsoever, why wouldn't they have announced it already? You know what I'm saying? So that's why they have said nothing official about used games.
So, I mean, they're basically going. I mean, you have to understand that no answer is an answer. If they're not going to answer your question, then chances are you already know the answer.
Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, I need to apologize. I'm actually eating my dinner during this hangout.
Nice.
I made chicken nachos, so I'm trying to eat them as quickly as I can. So I keep hopping off the screen and then like chewing when I'm back. Right. Hopefully, it's not picking up over the microphone.
I do not hear you eating.
Oh, wunderbar. Okay, so that is happening in the game world. Real quick, I do want to go over some of the games that we have been playing as of late. I will go first. I did beat Torchlight 2. I was sad to see the ending. I wanted to continue my journey, which you can.
Just play on the harder level.
You can play on the harder level, but also it does give you an option of, I think, playing like user-generated like maps and stuff. Because it's like
it's the Steamworks thing. You can use all user-generated maps and classes and all kinds of crazy mayhem.
So the adventure can carry on. So I might go back to that when I get some free time. I did play a game. It was kind of it's not really a game. It is a game, but it's not. It's called DLC Quest. It is basically a parody of when game DLC has just gone so far off, off the deep end that it's just ridiculous. Nice. So what you do through the game is you collect coins, and you turn in these coins for DLC packs that become available within the game. The first one is an animation set. So basically your character just moves across the screen as you do. Oh, and also you can't jump immediately. But it is really entertaining. It's not a hard game at all. It's really short, but it's like $2.99. So it's kind of fun just to like goof around.
That reminds me of a game, I think it was probably about 2, maybe 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Very much the same concept, only this was a, I don't know what you call it anymore. It was one of those top-down, like, fighter jet games, like 1942 or Raptor, called The Shadows. Mm-hmm. Great game, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was one of those, but same exact concept of what you're saying. Like, level 1, you have your fighter jet, and, like, you can't even fire. And then as you make coins, you can buy sound, you can buy 8-bit graphics. It's fun because it's the same exact thing. We're like, instead of unlocking items, it's like you're unlocking like gaming graphics and sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are kind of fun games to play.
Yeah, it was entertaining. It was different. I enjoyed it. I mean,
it's probably not made by EA, I'm guessing.
Do what?
Probably not made by EA.
No, but I'm sure it was pointed right at EA. So I played that game. Actually. So I started playing that game because I wanted to play Guild Wars 2, but I haven't logged into Guild Wars 2 in like forever. And so it's like, oh yeah, you got 28,000 files to update. And I'm like, dear Christ, I need to find something to play while I wait for all the files to download. I beat the DLC quest to completion. It was still downloading the files, so I started playing Puzzle Quest Galactrix again, which is a blast from the past for me. It's still not as good as the original Puzzle Quest, but it definitely passed the time. And last night I was actually able to play Guild Wars 2. I started a brand new character because I couldn't remember a damn thing about my other character.
Nice.
I'm a Sylvani, which I guess means tree person, because I'm definitely like my hair is leaves.
You are a tree hugger. You actually
Yeah,
kind of are a tree.
yeah.
Like,
So I'm messing around with that. I
I haven't
will
played
write a
Guild Wars 2
review at
in
some point, I'm sure.
a while.
Um, huh?
I haven't played Guild Wars 2 in a while.
Yeah. The other game I'm playing is Sleeping Dogs for the Xbox 360. I was hoping that I was making some headway in the game, but apparently I've not really put as big of a dent as I thought I did.
Hmm.
Um, the reason why I really want to put a dent into that game and perhaps get to the end where I can write up a review is I have this wonderful game that I really want to play
But you
for
have
the
not
PlayStation
touched
3, and it's still in the wrapper.
unfortunate.
So, indeed, it is. Oh, the other thing is I continue to play NCAA football 13 just in case our one of our viewers, readers, fans, Sims is watching this. Um, we are in off-season recruit mode. I basically have already recruited all my people, so I'm just like skip, 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 skip. But unfortunately, we have to like everybody who's playing has to do like an entire week, and then Sims has to advance to the next week, and you got to rinse and repeat through six
Nice.
weeks. So it's a pain in the ass.
Hmm.
Anyways, I was on Facebook today, and I'm a member of the indie game developer group on Facebook,
Indeed.
and there was a group. They don't really have a name. They are from Slovenia, I do believe, in Europe. They came. They were excited to release their new game today called um, Run and Roll. Run and Roll is you're basically this very enthusiastic snowboarder who is snowboarding down a mountain. When you accidentally crash into this pissed off polar bear who was trying to create a house of cards, and you knocked over the cards, so the bear wants to chase you. And then you're basically just running down the mountain the rest of the game.
Sounds
And
like ski free.
yeah, it's basically ski free. Yeah, that's a very good analogy. But you have a health bar. Um, if you run into trees or rocks or whatever, you take damage, and the bear will never catch you because once the game starts, you don't see the bear ever again. Um,
Interesting.
I played through the game. I put a couple hours into it. I've already written up a review on Alter Confusion. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. It is a game that you could definitely space out to. There is some challenge to it. There is some inconsistency with how damage is dealt out and how power ups interact with your person. And to be honest with you, you could tell that they had. I think they probably envisioned multiple levels that you would be going through, but it turns to only two levels. You have a snow level, and then you have this endless like forest grass level that just continues to change and whatnot. The reason why I'm under the assumption that there's only two levels is that the first level um, basically takes they have so many different like things that are going on in the game. They're trying to keep track of how far you've gone. You've got a score. You've also trying to collect coins to
Hmm.
unlock stuff. I don't think the unlock like if you unlock things, I don't think the actual effects that they want in the game actually have anything because like you can if you gain 1,000 coins and you put it in health my first of all when you click on it it just gives you a description of health. It doesn't say do this and you will gain 5% more health. you,
Yeah.
you have no idea. You're basically just throwing coins at this thing and there's a power meter bar that grows.
Okay.
um, so I mean it I think they wanted to extend the play, and you could tell that the snow level is very well done. But then you go to the forest level, and it just looks like this endless, not as polished, kind of thrown together thing. So, but it's still an amazing game. It is free, so 7.5. It's free. It's not that big. I mean, you can download it over 3G. It's not a huge game.
Mhm.
Yes, there is, of course, there is some like in-game purchases. Like you can buy coins to help you unlock all the stuff. But like I said, I did not feel the effects of the unlock. Uh, One of my pet peeves though about the game is that they give you the ability to buy resurrections. So I stockpiled resurrections, thinking, well, shit, I can get through this entire game. If there's an end, I'll get to it. So I just stockpiled resurrections. You can only use uno per run.
Ooh, that's sneaky.
Yeah. And of course, you don't know this. And there's no indication, there's no instructions that you can only use one resurrection per run. So here I am sitting with 5 resurrections. I die once. I'm back in the game. I get much further. I die. And I'm like, all right, resurrection. Oh, game over. What the
Not so
fuck?
much.
Yeah. So, anyways, been playing that. I continue to play Puzzles and Dragons, which is basically like Pokemon meets Puzzle Quest MMO ish type thing for your iPhone or iOS device. You'll see a review of that shortly, I'm sure. There's also another game I'm playing. It's called Cool Pizza. Um, I am fucking bound and determined to see if this game actually has goddamn pizza in it.
Maybe that's why they named it that, so like people continue to like play on, teased by this idea of pizza. And it's like it never exists.
I talked to one of the developers. I'm like, seriously, is there any pizza in this game? He's like, I gotta plead the fifth. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I want to review your game, but I want to do it where I've seen like everything there is about this game.
It's brilliant though, because you're still playing.
I know, but I want to write a fucking review to help these guys out. But I'm one of those
guess
people.
What? Here we are talking about it 2 weeks later.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know. So, anyways, Zelius, what have you been playing?
The only game I've been playing this week is Neverwinter MMO. I've been continuing to play. It's very much a standard MMO. I mean, it's first-person action style is kind of their little whoop. Let's switch it up a little. Other than that, you get to level 15 or 16, and
wait,
you can
Neverwinter. It's a first person.
I mean, it's not first person. Sorry, action
Third person.
RPG. Action. I don't know why it said first person. No, it's action RPG.
Okay.
Thank you. So I was thinking of another game I'm actually looking at playing that's not out yet. That is a first-person MMO, first-person shooter MMO that I'm going to try out. I don't have it on me though. I didn't even think of it until like now. Anyway, so I've been playing that. So far, it's a lot like your normal MMOs. Level 15 or 16, you can start doing dungeons. So far, at least, the whole healer class, tank class, not quite as important as other MMOs. Like a lot of MMOs, you go into a dungeon, and like the elites, like if you're like a mage, you get like one shot by the elites and shit. Like you just can't survive unless you have a tank taking everything.
Right.
Whereas this game, right now at least, at like level 20, it's kind of like, you'll survive just fine. Like the big ass boss guys, yeah, you probably don't want to stand in front of the frontal cleave. You probably will get smashed.
Right.
But it's also the pretty obvious one where you see like the big red, spot on the ground. Chances are you want to move away from the big bad red spot on the ground.
Right.
The whole companion system, which some MMOs have been starting to do, like the Old Republic, but still somewhat unique, I guess, to MMOs. The one more unique thing is you can bring your companions into dungeons. So if you got your 5-person dungeon, you can have tends to have their healer, cleric, as their companion, which makes sense. So then you have like 5 extra clerics running around helping to heal.
Right.
The biggest problem that I've read, I haven't quite got that far into the game yet, apparently aggro, which basically is the thread chart on who a monster wants to attack in the game, is completely messed up in the game. And that healers just draw aggro like insanity. And the tank's aggro abilities aren't as probably strong as they should be. So compared to like other kind of standard bearer MMOs like a World of Warcraft or a Rift, where it's a very well polished kind of like system, Neverwinter's not quite there yet.
Gotcha.
But it's also an open beta, which it's kind of the talk is they're doing no more character wipes. You can purchase stuff in game, so it's kind of the finished product, but kind of not.
Mhm.
It seems like, especially with this free-to-play MMOs, it makes sense. So it's like, why not release the game for people to play, and then you get microtransactions, so they have a steady influx of money.
Mhm.
So then you can also improve the game and have money to do it with too.
Right.
But it's also kind of funny because, like, like Metacritic or any, like, there's no official reviews for the game. So a person who's interested, like, so what's this game like? And a lot of people at first shot, yeah, they're gonna go to Metacritic to read some reviews. Well, they don't exist officially. So it's kind of one of those like weird quandaries. It's almost like Google, where it could just stay in beta like infinitely, and it's like, who cares? Because
Mhm.
the game's really open. So that's what I've been playing so far. I like it. You definitely do kind of start as you play more. You kind of feel that pressure of like, ooh, I should buy some Zen to heal up to like speed up my crafting ability or to
Mhm.
speed up my companions leveling. It's
Mhm.
not necessary. Like it's not like it has. I'm only level 20
Right.
out of 60, so far it's not that big of a deal. But I can definitely see where you get later on where it definitely helps to pay a little bit of money.
Mhm.
So I'll
Mhm.
kind of see how that goes. So far I've been playing it mainly as a single player game. But yeah, I'm enjoying that game. That's what
Good.
it is.
Speaking of Google, I received a sad press release today, and that is that Google Plus
Oh yeah.
games are going to be discontinued at the end of June. Um, now, I do want to set one thing straight. This is not Google Play. This is Google Plus Games.
Mm-hmm.
Google Play is like basically the marketplace for your Android device. That's
Yep.
not getting touched.
That'd be weird if it did.
That would be really weird. Yes, you're right. But basically, the ability to play games in browser through Google Plus is going to go away at the end of June, which is truly tragic for those who sit behind a
Corporate
fire,
firewall.
yeah, a company firewall that basically prohibits you from hitting certain sites because of, I don't know, entertainment category or something.
Google's one of those funny companies, like this. A couple months ago, they closed down, what was it, Blogger, or not Blogger, what's the thing that keeps track of the RSS feeds that they had?
Oh my gosh, that was
Outlines?
the hell was that called? Oh my gosh, it was because I was using it up till the last day.
Well, you know what I'm talking. So,
Yeah,
like, they closed that down a couple months ago for the RSS feed, and now they're closing down Google Plus. It's like I love Google products when they exist,
yeah.
but it seems like randomly and arbitrarily, Google's like, we're gonna close this product down because we don't give a shit anymore.
Anybody
So,
remember Google Wave?
oh yeah, that didn't last. That Google Wave didn't last very long. No, that was a
No.
pretty short-lived product.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
hard as balls to get an invite for it, but once you got it, you didn't get to have it for long because they just continued it.
so, they do certain things very well. They do like their search. A lot of businesses and school, especially schools, love their Google email.
Hmm.
So a lot of things, it's like I'm pretty sure their email is not going anywhere anytime soon, at least. Uh, but some of their products, it's like, I wonder how long this is going to exist.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um,
Now, what I do want is Google Fiber.
Google what? Oh,
Oh,
fiber. Yeah, yeah,
Google
yeah.
Fiber, get like a gigabit connection to the outside world.
Oh yeah.
I'm taking over the world.
Yep, yep.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Speaking of your hometown, well, actually, it's not your hometown, but one above it. Um, I'm sorry, I was watching Man vs. Food on
Oh,
the food. No, it's the Travel Network, their travel channel, and there's apparently two places that make a burger called the Juicy Lucy, and it's basically two patties together, but they have shit in the middle. So like, there's
I
like
don't like shit
cheese.
on my burger, dude.
No, moron. It's like cheese. It's like cheddar cheese. They basically put cheddar cheese there and like that. And when you bite into it, it's very juicy and it kind of. And there's apparently two versions of it from two places that claim to have the original Juicy Lucy. Um, so yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Sorry. That's my. So I want Zelius to find out where these two places are and I want him to test both of them because Zelius is a red meat eater, so I'm sure
I
that
am. I'm a carnivore.
I'm sure that eating a hamburger is not out of the realm of possibility with Zelius.
I might be able to handle this.
So I need you to report back to me on that.
I'll have to find out the next time I'm in the cities.
There you go. I do have a question that was asked of me, and I wanted to bring it up on the Hangout since we do have a little bit of extra time.
Right on.
And I know we've said this in the past, but I guess it would be a good idea just to give maybe the newer viewers a little bit of background here. And that is, what genre of games are you most likely to play for review purposes? Delius!
Well, if you look at the we shall call far and few between reviews, most likely it's going to be some kind of MMO. Most likely because of the games I get kind of drawn into for like extended periods of time, they happen to be MMOs.
Mhm.
So I did Rift, I did Neverwinter, I did that really shitty MMO like a couple of years ago that people then wrote on Alt Confusion that I'm a stupid person about. Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't remember what that's called now.
I remember somebody came after you, but I don't
It was
remember
like
what it was.
I wrote this review. It was just a terrible game. And 6 months later, like somebody found the review. Was like, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Oh, I'm like, "Really? Are you serious?"
It's just like when I basically badmouthed was it DC Online?
Oh yeah.
People came after me like, "Whoa, what are you talking about, man? It's such an awesome game." Oh, no, no, no. I'm like, well, that okay. Um, let me set one record straight here. Alter Confusion. Um, when you read our articles and when you read our reviews, it is our personal opinion of the game. We're not trying to set the one and only opinion on the game.
However, Charlie, he has principles. I, on our hand, do not. So, game publishers, I'm open to just say.
He can be corrupted. So for me, I'm really open to almost any genre. I do shy away a little bit from MMOs simply because I don't really get into MMOs. It's really difficult for me to get past like the 20-hour mark because I really am a soloist. If I can't continue to play the game without without having to find people, then I'm probably not going to play it. So I would say once upon a time I was like hardcore like Japanese RPG, um,
Wow.
but that really has changed.
Speaking of, I still need to pick up Final Tutorial 13. It's been a while since I played it.
Yeah. Um, but so I would say that I'm becoming more of like an action adventure individual, more like the Uncharted games out there. Alan Wake. It's another game I really enjoyed. Well, hopefully I'll really enjoy Tomb Raider.
Well, let me ask you a question though. Can I go back
Yes,
real
sir.
quick?
Uh huh.
It doesn't seem like I know they're still out there, but it doesn't seem like GRPGs or JRPGs.
Hmm.
It doesn't seem like they're quite as released, quite as prevalently on the current gen consoles as maybe like a PS1 or PS2 generation. I just don't hear nearly much about them as I used to.
You're right, and I think that partially it's because that the majority of these JRPGs have to find an American partner to bring the game over. Um, Another issue is that the gap in time between the Japanese release and the American release is basically the same as it's always been, but because we're in a generation of we have to have it now,
Yeah.
um, that that gap is like unfathomable. So there's a lot of games that don't make a very smooth transition from Japan to the U.S. simply because of that. And also, um, there is a lot to a Japanese RPG game. I mean, you're talking bare minimum 80 hours. And a lot of the games, even Mass Effect, well, Mass Effect is kind of I mean, you could play it for 20 hours, you could play it for 100. I mean, it really depends on how you play the game. Same deal with like Skyrim and stuff. Um, but JRPG, the pacing's different, and I think the amount of games haven't like decreased per se, but there's so many more options out there now that they're kind of being buried simply because they're at such a disadvantage because of the delay in release time. Because everyone's trying to get every single ounce out of these consoles. They're going to continue to do it for the next ones, and so you're looking at a game that came out and is like revolutionary in Japan 3 years prior to when you get to play it, and now it doesn't look as good as the like an American equivalent.
Okay, I see that. That makes sense. I'll buy it. You make it sound like you know what you're talking about.
Thank you, thank you. I hope I do. For you who are interested in going to MonsterCon 2013, we finally got our two slots. I believe we've got like a 1 o'clock slot, and then the 5 o'clock slot that Saturday. I can't remember what the actual date is. I
They
want
need
to
to
say,
be live streamed, yeah.
well, God, I wish I could live stream it, but I don't think we're gonna have uh, a strong enough internet connection to do it. We will be videotaping it, so for any of you who miss out on it, I will once again be posting it on Vimeo, and then of course posting it on our website so that you can get to watch it. Now, of course, we are doing the destruction of the game industry as we know it, um, and I do want to say that it will be. It is assuredly going to be a different talk than the first one in MomoCon, and it's going to
So
be
you're not just
different.
gonna like take the original and just like use a projector and like showing a screen like, hey, we're good. Watch this.
No, 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 no. See, just as stated in the actual description of the destruction of the game industry as we know it, as the industry evolves, so does the information about where the industry's headed next. So, if I were to give you the exact same thing that I gave people at MomoCon, a lot of stuff would be out of date and a lot of it wouldn't be relevant because of this wonderful world that we live in. Shit's changing every second. So the MomoCon one is going to be different than the AndoCon one, which is going to be different than the MonsterCon one.
Right on.
And if I could, and SiegeCon one.
Excellent.
I forgot about that one. That was in October.
You better get
Uh,
your vocal cord practicing. Takes lessons from Jesse on how to speak at length, loudly.
really? How many podcasts have we done? How many video casts have we done? Are you seriously telling me that I can't talk for a long amount of times with volume? I mean, my God, dude, that is not a problem with me.
Touche. What are you doing right now?
That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Um, so yes, sorry. So back on the topic. I'm more into action, adventure, action, whatever, action adventure games right now. They are, you know, I don't know, they're crisper.
But it
I'm
also seems like, in a way, though, those are also almost like what's overall the most popular in the gaming console world now.
right. Well, I mean, and to be honest with you, a lot of the games now actually have small little RPG elements to them. They're just disguised as maybe um, like weapon upgrades or something.
Seems like,
Or
yeah, every single game has some kind of upgrade path
oh,
somewhere.
absolutely. I mean, you look at ECAA football. I know that a lot of people probably don't play that. That probably come to Ultra Confusion. Maybe a lot of people do. But your players, if you're playing a dynasty mode, their stats change. They improve, or what's the
Regress.
ops? Yeah, regress. There we go. I was like, deprove is not the word I'm looking for. They're because of injury, because of having an amazing game or something. I mean, you're gaining experience points that will level up or de-level your character. I mean, it's everywhere, but RPGs, they just bring it to the forefront. They make that like the source of attention.
Yeah.
Whereas all these other games who are now grabbing RPG elements, like leveling up and skills and whatnot, they're kind of making it secondary. So I mean, I'm still so in a nutshell, I'm still getting my RPG, um, my syringe of RPG right into the vein, but it's in a much more subtle way.
Okay, fair enough. I like that.
And I also play a lot of puzzle games. I'm always
Okay.
up for a good game that I could basically just turn off the brain and play,
I'm
which is
not sure
why.
what puzzle games and turning off the brain have to do with each other.
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, when you look at, I consider Bejeweled a puzzle game, and that is a
Okay.
game that, yes, you have to use your brain simply so that you know that you're matching the same color. But other than that, you could completely zone out.
Fair enough.
There's a game called Candy Rush on Facebook, where you're matching different types of candy. No brain power, just click, click, click. Which, by the way, if someone could just tell me how the fuck to beat the level I'm on right now, I'd be so happy.
Isn't it like on YouTube or something?
No, because it's random. It's random candy.
Ah, random generated candy. I could really use that in my office. Just sitting there having a long day, bam, chocolate like just appears next to my monitor. That'd be the best thing ever.
Dude, we would balloon so much.
It would not be good for me.
No, what would be
Or
worse for me
random
is if
or generated beer as I'm sitting down would be nice too. I can
yeah,
handle that.
yeah.
Oh, hey, it's the summer. No kids around at school. Never know what might happen on a crazy afternoon.
Mr. Duval, why are you in school with beer taped to your head?
I don't know what you're talking about. It says Mountain Cola. There's no beer in this. That smell, just ignore it. It's just a turpentine.
Anyways, one I just remembered that I did play one JRPG rather recently, and that was um, Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch, which was a
Oh, yeah, I remember
phenomenal
that one.
game. And it, I mean, well, to be honest with you, it wasn't the story was not what got me into it. It was because it was um, all the art was done by Studio Ghibli, which I love. Um, and I actually bought a couple more of their movies that I need to watch in the very, very um, close future. Whatever, brain not working all of a sudden. Um, but I mean, that was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. So,
Excellent.
and I put a shit ton of time in that game.
Like most Japanese RPGs.
Mm-hmm. See, I think to be honest with you, I think one of the reasons why I have like gone away from the JRPG has to do with my wife because I can't tell you how many times she's like, "So, what have you been playing?" And I'll say, like I don't know, no new Kuni. She goes, "You're still playing that?" I'm
When
like,
did you play that? Like 3 weeks ago? What the hell?
"Exactly, that's the exact phrase." I'm like, "Fuck, am I? Is it really going that slow? Am I really spending all that time? Should I be playing something else?" So yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Um, ooh, I'm like excited, but at the same time, I'm like greatly depressed. My Ouya is on the way. It's apparently been on the way for a while,
Ooh,
uh,
yeah.
but I can't seem to track it. My tracking number
Oh,
doesn't work.
that is unfortunate.
Yeah,
I
so
hope
I have
like your
no
wife didn't
idea
hide it
where
from
it
you.
is.
It probably like appeared one day and she's like, Charlie doesn't really need another gaming device. Maybe like she wrapped it up and you open it up for like Christmas or something.
That would pain me. That would absolutely pain me because right now the new it's a brand new console. Games are coming out. I can get Ultra Confusion can hop in the front and help write a shit ton of reviews on games that will allow people to see what's out there and also to focus because I don't know how the marketplace is going to work. Um, I really don't know much about the gaming system past the fact that it's going to come preloaded with Sonic.
With what?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought you said. Very exciting.
Anyways, I believe, unfortunately, Zelius, we have come to the close of this hangout.
I don't know if I'm going to get over this fact.
Uh,
I may not be able to go on.
I I
I
we
may
both
just
have
sit.
to be strong.
I may just sit here for the next like 7 days, just waiting in eager anticipation.
You can't do that.
You'd be surprised at my power of sitting. You know what it entails.
Well,
I have Gatorade bottles at my disposal.
that's disgusting. That is so disgusting.
Hey, cross country skills, yo.
Yeah.
Long
Okay.
bus rides.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you for tuning in. We will, of course, continue to do this. If memory serves me correctly, I know this is like in the future, but we may have to break from doing every single Thursday when it hits July,
Indeed.
because I'm pretty sure that we're not going to do this on the 4th.
Most likely not. Is that a Thursday? I don't even know.
I think it's a Thursday. So
We could do it with like fireworks over our head. That'd be pretty rad.
which does not sound like fireworks. It sounds like a cheap little space gun, but whatever.
Okay.
I signed up to hopefully be in one of the betas of WildStar, which is an MMO that's been in like production for a while.
Oh, speaking of MMOs,
Yes, sir.
sorry, continue on.
Go for it.
Apparently, now this is who knows the veracity of this, but apparently, so Blizzard's been working on their MMO code titled Titan, whatever that means.
Yep.
And apparently, they've had like 100 dream, code writers, whatever the word is, doing the games for like the last couple of years. And apparently, this week, Blizzard's like, we're going to start from scratch. And we're reducing the number of employees who are working on this project by a lot. So apparently we'll see a new MMO from Blizzard sometime.
2016.
That's the target date I saw, which means like 2018 in Blizzard time.
It's probably more like 2020, but let's
Yeah.
be honest. but it's Blizzard, so I mean they can basically say, oh yeah, 2016. Oh, 18.
Yes, right now World of Warcraft is still like the king of subscriptions, but it's gone down from 10 million to 8.5 active subscribers, which is
nuts.
Well, it's I don't see that. I see the trend going down.
Well, of course. I mean, how many more expansions can they go? I mean, Mist of Pandaria to most people is a stretch.
It jumped the shark.
Yeah.
So there comes a point where it's like, okay, Blizzard, I don't know how much further. But then again, you look at a game like EverQuest 2.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, they're like expansion like 842 or something.
Well, I mean, look at EVE Online. I think they're at like expansion 16.
But they're doing totally different though. Like you take like EVE or EverQuest, they do an expansion. It's like, okay, here's like a little extra nugget of awesomeness.
Yeah.
Here's like, okay, we're gonna do some like class rebalancing, and here's a new raid. Here's your expansion.
Yep.
Whereas for Blizzard, it's like Mist of Pandora. It's the best thing ever. So it's like, and of course they want you to buy this expansion too. It's just, I don't know. And of course part of it is how long is Blizzard gonna hold out on the. They have no reason to change right now, but how long are they going to hold out on the monthly subscriptions? Mm-hmm. That's not changing anytime soon because 8.5 million subscribers. Why are they going to change your business model? Obviously.
Absolutely.
But at some point, so I don't know what's going to happen with World of Warcraft. At some point, they'll maybe come with a new MMO in like our lifetime.
We'll see. We'll see. Anyways, okay, so thank you, listeners, watchers, fans, readers, everybody out there.
Ghosts and spirits.
Ghosts, spirits, demons, monsters, angels.
Doctor Who!
Time Lords. Thank you for tuning in to the Alta Confusion Hangout. I am your host, Charlie. And once again, it is my great pleasure to have Zelius once again appear on this show. Thank you so much, Zelius, for appearing. And so for myself, Charlie, and Zelius, thank you for tuning in.
Remember, kids, keep on giving in the free world.